I said that, this was going to go up after I'm glad I put that video up. Um, I forget when, but I was almost finished. Um, I was just getting a little bit more, um, what to say, but hmm, doesn't matter. This video is going to go up. The video that I said that I was ready to put up, well, didn't turn out. So now, again, I have to do it again. So, whatever. Well, I did put it up, but only a little bit. Um, thing is, whoever is using my name, I said, that one, and getting money, again, please do not fall for it. But you're using my name and getting money and whatever else from anyone, you know, from I don't know who, from who. Um, but anyway, I know it's being done because of I was told. And anyway, and I said in that video that you have until the 1st of August by 11 a.m. to return whatever you took from whoever these ones are pretending to be me under my name. Well, it's not the time to take any chances to wait. Don't do it. At least listen to that. But, today is, you know, August 1st. So 11:01, if you wait, 11:01, Spirit will be given and starting. Their surprise. So go ahead. Only you and the ones who got involved will be taking, will be risking yourselves. For those ones who took the bait, it's across the board about these ones making fake accounts. Now, you must have seen it. Who's been, using their names, and the real ones actually came on and made videos. Well, I knew down the line that I would be making the video also. Before you do anything, ask the real ones. Doesn't matter, one way or another, if they were asking for money. You find out who these people are and turn them in. They are and will, if they, know it. They will use your friends' names to go and say they are you. And family. And also who you follow. So do not fall for it. Ask the real ones. And wherever it was done, you can try asking the app, to turn them in, or, do something to block them. But you need to make sure. And I'm also speaking to all these ones that is having a problem on your app with these fake ones. Now I'll explain that in a second. Um, thought they found a new way. Um, but make sure the apps do not make a mistake again and take the real ones. Down. Or you could just turn them in if you find out, because like I said, they will make that mistake. I'm still waiting for my accounts to come back. And in my other video, that I don't know what happened to it. I was at the end of finishing up, but I in the video I said that I will be putting a short video up, and that the video will be up before this video comes out. Well, okay, I'm glad I put that video up. Now this one's coming out. To let you know, these ones. I chose this journey, okay? You all know I have. And I had in spirit. By the time I was born, they taught me. And that's why I chose what I do. In the beginning, I didn't think I would be able to, when I was born, along the way, as a child, and et cetera, et cetera. That's all I'm going to say. I didn't think I was going to be able to do it. But more and more you did whatever. That I got stronger and stronger. And I, stronger and stronger I became. And you all taught me, yeah, a woman can do what I do. I'm not going to explain that one, because as I was growing up, I think I did explain it in one of the videos, but enough. Also, it taught me to see how far someone would go and how much patience I have till I decided, to shock people. Yeah, I love doing that. And love, how I love being mysterious and, see, like I said in the beginning, I said that I might put the video up, but very little. But what I'm not putting up is this. When I said you were using my name asking people for money. Okay. And I also mentioned, all this before. And I also mentioned, especially, these big names. Well, and I mentioned some other stuff. Well, all the fake accounts with these names, the real ones will know with this one. I know you were also using, you know, those fake names, the real big ones. That you've been sending me pretending to be? Yeah. You see, I also know you're using those names pretending to be them, but you're using my name to make people think I'm pretending to be them. Yeah, and I know how you did it. What you thought you would get to me, you know, what did you think? You think that way? Okay, okay. That's really interesting. What you don't know, you see, remember I said in my other videos, and I've been saying it, and with some, no one's telling you, whoever got you to join their groups. Did they tell you who is behind me? Huh? No. And remember in my other videos, let's say that I said that you better be worried. Well, now that both sides are out, but the one side, you could guess what side. Nope, it's not the light side. Is well, they had enough. But no, you need to be worried again. I mentioned, if anyone was wearing, you know, those sunglasses, especially at night. Yeah. Yeah, they're there. How you like to, follow me to see what I'm doing and everything, blah, 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 yada, yada. Yeah, well, they're there too. But also to bring you down for the authorities and whoever else to take you either to jail or maybe prison. You know, I don't know how many times I have to say you messed with me way too far. And you got others involved. And you thought you would get me involved in something else. Oh, yeah. All of you are still trying. I hope you're liking all of what you tried sending me again and continuing to send. I hope you like it, being sent back to you. And then And then while you're going through it, since I went through what I had to normally, plus all of all of yours, and what really is interesting is, wow, some still want to be me, not like me, that you wanted to be me. Huh. Well, everything I went through, with the battles and everything. Matter of fact, never mind. Um, well, now you're going to see what I went through, but with all that, was supposed to be yours in the first place. Let's see. Do you still want to beat me? Do you still want to beat me? No. Because, first of all, you can't be me. You can't be anybody except yourself. And I told you in other videos how God set all that up. I'm not going to explain because, goes in one ear and out the other. And in the other video, which I'm glad I put up, I spoke about that Palmer candy. Just look it up, please. Apparently the yogurt, the sour, I don't know, Skittles, I don't know if that's Palmer candy, I don't know. Fudge cookies, they're all coming from Walmart, Target, and Dollar General. Look it up to see if it's all still recalled, because apparently this time it's a lot of salmonella and people are really getting sick. Now let's continue before, which now it won't. But anyway, first I did mention all this back when I first started, and I did a video about it. But ones are still saying that, Jesus is gay. And in the video, I did explain. But I'm not saying, he's gay, or if he is, or if he was or not. That doesn't matter. Sometimes when you do, religious jokes and stuff like that, I mean, if it's funny, it's funny. Yeah, they think it's funny too. But this, well, that's not why they're mad. You all know why they're mad. But with that and other things, it's called the lies that are being told. What ones, assume from the Bible. You see, his journey and etc. How ones love to twist and assume about anyone and whoever. Come here. No, stop. Now go lay down. The thing is, was anyone there with him to know? Were you there to see if he had a girlfriend at that point? No. Jesus knew he had to help all of us with God's plan. You see, back then, he saw and he knew that what Adam and Eve didn't do, what they were told. Plus, from what I remember, when was it? His life was taken. Hmm. At the age of 33, right? So, how was it that he had the time to have a girlfriend, get married, and find his true mate, with him trying to help all of us, to protect us? And, you know, sometimes he had to go into isolation for his protection. Tell me, did you know all that? You don't know any of, that. So, as across the board says, when you get readings and stuff like that, or when we do readings, to not to make anything fit into your story, especially when it's going to be lies for your story. Meaning, whatever we give through our readings, we say something. You are going through it, or maybe you have done it. Whatever it is in the message, then it's yours. If it sounds familiar, it might be what you see around you, or maybe, what's in the message. It could, help to help whoever it is for. And that's why it sounds familiar. Maybe you know somebody around you going through it, something. Or it could be that you came across something and it sounded like that, but it involves you. Now it depends on the message. It might be telling you, that something's coming up, whether to let go or you need to work on something, or with someone, to make it better. But at that point, if it's that, it's saying that you're making the right choice and the right path. That's how you know. And in messages, it's also, trying to teach you, okay, if you come across this, this is what you do before it gets out of hand. But anyway, I'm not going to continue to explain all that. Get out of my shoe. As I said, Jesus knew what isolation was. It could be, two different ways. God could put you there when he tells you to go, or told him, or he will force it because you need to focus on something, what he needs to do, or what you need to do. And also, for your protection. Or, number two, it could be that you get into isolation. That's because, these ones that are out there, trying to keep people stuck, or, oh, I'm the only one that will have that person, and, do other things and force people into isolation. But that's when God, needs to, tell you, hey, you're being protected, and to do what he has, what he tells you, or, you know, because he sees what you don't. See, I know what isolation is both ways. Till, well, you don't need to know about that. But now those ones think they are trying to put me in it. They are going to, they're going to know what isolation is. And everyone knows what it means in all ways. And feeling alone. But the difference is between them and me, I was never alone. And whoever feels alone, you're not alone. Just keep on having that faith. And you will be guided. I knew to adapt to it. And these ones should have looked up what it meant to know. What they put towards not only me, that it was all coming back, meaning all the isolations you tried to keep me in, from, people, my person, and whoever, whatever. You thought that, by doing that I wasn't safe to go outside or anywhere, or whatever else you tried to keep me in. Well, you never did any of that anyway. But you did, except one of them, but never again. Never again. You see, you know how Jesus carried the cross? For us, not to say all of us to carry everyone's cross that don't want to heal or have faith. For them to push on to others their burdens, their anxieties and problems and whatever else. He didn't say that's why he was doing that. And he didn't tell any of us to carry everybody's cross. Yeah, he carried the cross for us. But, read about it. Have faith. And then you'll know. These people do that because they can't handle any of it. Matter of fact, all they had to do was ask for help to help them change their ways and how they can make it better and much more. He wanted us to continue to experience our own journey that God planned for us. You see how God disciplines us when we're going down the wrong path, making the wrong choices because we weren't listening. And I'm not saying all of us are making bad choices. We're still here. We are accomplishing. We are making a difference. So we are listening, even though we don't realize it. The ones who do whatever, and when he disciplines, it's ignored. But then he will continue to give those signs. That's being that, he's patient, and he gives other ways to make sure that you get what he's saying. It's like us being parents, you know, with our children and friends and whoever else. It's saying we need to be patient, you know, find other ways, to make sure it gets through to somebody, as long as it's helping them, not being abusive. And that's in many ways that, that can harm somebody. That's not a way. To discipline, we all went through all, some things and all that, but then we see our children or friends or whoever starting to, it's looked familiar or whatever, and you need to discipline them. We don't want our children or friends or anybody to do the same thing when we already knew what it already did, or how long it took, us to get out of it or whatever. Don't sit back and, either teach or watch people do the same things that say you already know what will happen. It's called help the person say, hey, say what you want, but say, hey, I've been through that. I've been down that path. Please don't do it. You can listen to me or you don't have to listen to me. But, you could find a way of, people express different ways. I can't tell you what to say or what to do. I'm just giving out, what I'm told, and also out of my own words to help people. And that's what I'm here for. We need to put a stop to all this. Instead of watching, now, also, the ones, right now, I didn't say anything, that a child can't listen to or whatever, but I'm still going to put it under restriction, 18 and up. But, we need to stop all this, where our children, are listening to, what their friends and, where they don't listen to their parents or whatever, or they're being taught they get away with things and they figured, okay, let's do it, and that's how the chain goes. All these kids, I'm not saying all, but, We need to put a stop to this and say, hey, I've been down that road and it's not pretty or whatever. Stop continuing things and let's put a stop to it. How's this making it better? You know, if I did something, why would I want my children? I mean, it's one thing, you know, if they did something, okay? It's called how, God is going to, and people can see it. And with these ones who are doing all this, what I said in the beginning and all through, and in all my videos, God is, can be nice. But when he has enough, he had enough. Then, because of all things being ignored, especially when you were told not to mess with me or my family, but you continued and then kept on getting more and more people and, whatever, blah, 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 yada, yada, whatever. Well, he's going to start doing things the hard way. And that's what I went through the hard way. I'm not saying maybe, things down here, on earth were hard, but not as hard of doing things in spirit, all those spiritual, wars and etc. blah, 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 whatever. I'm not going to get into it. But, it's also for all those ones, think that they're entitled, thinking that they can get away with things, etc. With us and our children, like that. Say they keep doing something, and obviously, you punish the child or whatever. You still had a little bit of problem, but, they somewhat listen, but, but then, as they get older, they start listening to their friends and stuff like that. Why is it that people can't just, protect each other and, how could I say it? Get along? You do know that, everyone is, important to everybody, especially your family. You only have, I don't care how many times you get married. I don't care how many, step parent or whatever. You know how it goes. You only have one mom or one father. Okay? One. Siblings. You're immediate. Why is it that because others have problems with their immediate family or whatever, where people don't have time to, keep in touch? That's one thing, you try to keep up with, friends, stuff like that. But, you should be keeping in touch with family, as in media family. We have a huge family, okay? But it's like the immediate family is the only one that we have. But the other families, friends and everything. You see, they like multiply, you know. So it's kind of hard to keep up with everybody. So why is it that because people can't get along, other ones, let's start things, especially, because you know how kids, you know, like, oh, what comes out of a child's mouth, that saying. I can't remember the whole entire saying, but you know, a child will say anything. So what do you think they tell their friends? Oh yeah, my family, they did this, yeah, they did this, whatever. So it's like it continues, you know. So it's like even when they get older, you know, it's like God, you can do so much punishing, you know, bailing someone out. So it's like, then, well, maybe they need to be taught. If they do something and it's something that they do over and over again, well, like, bailing them out, why don't you, just say, okay, how about to teach them a lesson? They stay overnight. But the thing is, do not put someone, to like wake them up or whatever, even if it's like, something, I don't know, like not dangerous or whatever, you know, okay, enough of bailing out, the same day or whatever. Keep them overnight to see what it feels like. But you don't put them in where others that who are dangerous or whatever and something can happen to them. No, you put them in or have them do like, community whatever. You make up something where they have to do it. People need to start putting foot down and explain to, especially to each other or to children, you only have one family. Get along and then spread that love or whatever. Break bread together and start building up our communities. What do you think Jesus did on his journey? We could do, or, do that, have them to wake them up. Then, to keep bailing them out and let them think that they got away with it. Oh, somebody will bail me out. I don't need to listen or whatever. It's called entitlement, whatever. And people make up things. Oh yeah, they're full of it. You don't need to listen to that. I can see telling, somebody, you do what you want, at your goal or whatever, to lift people up. But when it comes to for discipline, people shouldn't interfere on how you are correcting. Now, I could see if, they were beating the child. I did this video a long time ago, but, You know, that's not being disciplined, planning, whatever. Um, my dad used to call, people acting like that brats. But anyway, the thing is, if you thought that, like came up, if you thought, okay, well, I'm going to teach them and wake them up or whatever, well, that means that you had enough. And God actually said, hey, you need to do that, do something to wake up somebody and say, okay, I was correcting you because of, you need to pay attention. I've been down that way, don't do it, etc., etc. But with these ones, God did have enough. So whatever you did, and according to what you did, then you will know what the karma is that you kept doing. See, Jesus had God's help. That that didn't mean that he wasn't tested, like we are, by God. It didn't mean that he didn't see the signs or hear them. It didn't mean he wasn't learning like how we should be. He had all those um ones sorry. He had all those ones that helped him. Whoops, there we go. Yeah, he had all those ones to help him that had solutions, and asked for help. Yeah. Everything don't have to be, strings attached. It's also, don't mean to do whatever. This way you don't have to pay for anything or do a job as you're supposed to, at a job or doing whatever. It's also if someone did something for you or you did something for someone, and you came out of the blue or whatever and say, oh, I did this for you. So you could give me, you know, so I can give you all my problems, all my work, and whatever else. Is that how it goes? Because somebody did something, or you did something for somebody, now all of a sudden, you know, that's not what God is teaching us or Jesus. It don't mean either if someone does need help and they came to you, if you can help with a solution, you help them. Or just tell somebody, well, I don't have a solution, but just, help them find one if you can. And be grateful, you know, try to make it work, to help. Anybody can get, a solution somehow, to make it better. And if it don't work, say, as I said before, don't blame people for something that they had nothing to do with it. Say somebody helped you. You tried it. And it was working. But, you forget along the way, it's been doing good and all that. Say, you didn't know. You passed somebody, and somehow, their bad luck came onto you. And all of a sudden, you're going to go back to take revenge on the person who helped you? Doesn't that sound stupid? I mean, you need to figure out what it was on your own, or find out, or backtrack everything. It was somewhere along the way, or say you did something thinking, oh wow, I've been having all this luck. Maybe I could go back to my old ways. And then bam, instant karma. But you didn't realize that again. Could be someone you may have came across to. See, it could be that, someone that you didn't realize, that, or you didn't remember who they were or whatever, saw you, came across you or whatever, and then started speaking bad about you. It's always, that, right? But the thing is, you see, Jesus, God, didn't teach us to judge or assume about anybody, especially without checking anything out. So before you start, believing in lies, make sure that it is a lie or not, okay? But it still doesn't matter if it is a lie or it's a truth, okay? You go and ask whoever it's about before you take revenge because, wow, someone said to go do that. Are you going to listen if someone says, oh, go jump off a bridge? Let's go together. Do you think, like really, do you think, well, one, it would be pretty stupid even if both of you did it. I mean, really stupid. But if someone said, oh, let's go jump off a bridge, think about that real hard, because they might have a plan of not jumping off and have you jump off just to get rid of you. Maybe they know that you know something or something like that. You need to start, this is all bull crap of people saying, oh, they overreact. Oh, they're too, I forget now, right now. They're too strict, or this, or that. They're overprotective. They're this, whatever. Well, yeah, in some things, people can, but they have reasons. So I'm not saying people start, okay, being overprotective, overreacting over this. People do overreact. They're what people call Karens and whatever. You get what I mean. Like I said, start bringing your higher self to the front, okay? Start cleaning out all the cobwebs, all the negativity out of your mind, and start bringing forth like if you have to, speak loud to your higher self to clean out, to come to the front, to guide you even more. But stop doing all this, all the repeating and all that. Kids see things and they think it's normal, and then they tell their friends. And then all of a sudden now in some families, people, aren't getting along. You get what I mean? Yeah, that's in every family. Yeah, it's normal, to have a little tiny argument. But, some families, they know how to resolve it and have a solution or whatever. It's a normal thing to them, We speak up, and take care of the solution, to have a solution. But in other families, oh my God, how people have grudges. And they retaliate and do all kinds of stuff. Come on, people. But anyway, this is long enough. Thank you for listening. And everyone have a great morning, day, whatever time this goes up. I don't know. But I'm glad I did get this up. And, again, thank you all. And again, I am not speaking about everybody. This is just like, to wake people up, to see what's around them. And, about these ones, yeah. And all those big names, why? Because I grew up with people in that field. Oh, I'm not allowed to have, enjoyment to listen or, watch people's videos. It's everyone I follow. But I know exactly how you're doing it. So all the big ones that I, mentioned, and some I didn't, well, definitely keep an eye on it, because they found a new way to get me in trouble, to cover up what they're doing. Some it is personal, even though that they don't really know me. I mean, they know of me now, and not to mess with me, but no, they keep on messing. But I don't know any of them, and how it started. Yeah, you know, um, it's only you that is getting yourself in trouble, along with whoever you got to join your groups. And at this point, I really don't care. But the only thing that comes out of your mouth, if you want to speak of me, you better let people know not to mess with me or my family. And that I am nice, and that I am kind, and all those that patience that I had. And took everything that you sent. That's the only thing that should come out of your mouth. That I gave you chances after chances after chances after chances, just like God does, and Jesus, until you hit that brink of, I won't go there. But you went too far. Now I told you that the both sides of me are out. And that I would always stick to the light. That doesn't mean that I can't, be mad. The other side had enough, just as I said. And all those ones wearing the sunglasses, and especially at night, you went overboard. Way overboard. You crossed the line. And the other side is out now. So all those ones, like I said before, if you see anyone wearing sunglasses, especially at night, better be careful. Because you never know when they're going to come up and hold you until the authorities, and I'm not going to say who the others are. But put it this way, those ones with the sunglasses, you better work with them. As in, they tell you to get down, you better get down. Because the others that are just going to take you away, if they get to you first, well, make the right choice. And everyone else, thank you. All around the world. And you keep doing what you're doing. You keep making it better and keep accomplishing. And we are making progress. Sending peace, love, light, and positive thoughts. And thank you. Oh, yeah, and YouTube, thank you again what you sent and told me what I did. Thank you. I needed that. But anyway, thank you, everyone, and have a wonderful, lovely day, night, evening, whatever. Ciao.